We are here with Week 8 of the BTFL Season 3. Washington Redskins / Commanders would face the Minnesota Vikings here on Thursday Night Football. And Sonny Jurgensen had a game for the ages. Throwing it down the right side to Jordan Reed. He had one reception for 70 yards and his first touchdown in the history of the BTFL. Fran Tarkenton of the Vikings would get things started, throwing it to Steve Jordan, another guy with Jordan in his name, and finishing it off with a play-action roll-out bootleg, throwing it to Steve Jordan. He had two receptions for over 100 yards, and he had two touchdowns in this one. Gary Clutch City Clark would get the catch over the middle from Sonny Jurgensen, making it close to the red zone. And then Jurgensen in the shotgun, throwing it to John Riggins, the former Super Bowl MVP, had a reception for 22 yards and a touchdown right there. Next drive for the Vikings, Adrian Peterson, who's been an MVP of his own, he gets it down the right side, getting the touchdown for the Vikings, 20 rushes for 95 yards and a touchdown. Game's tied right before half. Art Monk is painting pictures, and Mark Mosley, who was an MVP as well, gets the field goal. Then Art Monk would paint more pictures down the left side, and then play action rolls out. This was Sonny Jurgensen's third touchdown of the game. He would end up having 4 with 317 passing yards right before the end of the third quarter. Chris Carter, the guy who mostly just catches touchdowns, but he catches the ball down the right side. That leads to a field goal. Onside kick recovered by the Redskins / Commanders, and then Sonny Jurgensen would find Clinton Portis. The Washington Redskins / Commanders win this one 31-24. They're 4-3. Vikings are 3-5. Now to the Sunday games. The Buccaneers face the Titans / Oilers. Tom Brady with the Buccaneers getting the ball back. He won the Super Bowl in 2020, giving the ball to Keyshawn Johnson. He had 3 receptions for 84 yards, and that was his lone touchdown. Titans / Oilers get the ball back. Warren Moon throws it over the middle to Ernest Givens. All the Givens he could get to the 25-yard line, and then Moon would moon the audience, getting the ball into the end zone, running it, getting the Titans on the board. The game is tied. Tom Brady, no pressure, throws the ball down the right side to Rob Gronkowski, the man, the myth, the legend, inside the 5-yard line, and the fake handoff pitch to work done. That's his first rushing touchdown of the season, but Eddie George of the Titans / Oilers gets safetied, and that would set the Buccaneers up. Tom Brady, no pressure. Rob Gronkowski, touchdown. That was a big play inside the 5-yard line as Warren Moon would play action. Frank Wycheck would have a really tough game. He would get tackled. It's a fumble. Coughs the ball up. It's Simeon Rice with this one, getting it to the 15-yard line. And then Brady would throw it to Mike Evans. That was his lone reception for 15 yards and a touchdown. Buccaneers win this one 33-7. They're 5-2. Titans / Oilers are 2-6. Last time the Lions played the Giants in the BTFL Season 1, they lost and they got shut out. This time, Ndamukong Suh is looking to blank Eli Manning. The big man runs it in for the second touchdown of the BTFL Season 3. Giants on their second drive, inside Lions territory. Eli Manning steps up. He throws a huge interception here to Benny Blades, the guy with knives on his hands. This drive for the Lions would include the human highlight reel, the human joystick. Barry Sanders getting it to the 35-yard line, and then play action by Stafford, rolls out, throws it over the middle to Megatron. And that was Megatron's lone reception for 23 yards and a touchdown. Eli Manning's got to get back into this one. He'll start by throwing it one-handed caught by OBJ. And then Eli Manning throws it over the middle to Victor Cruz. And he's salsa dancing in the end zone. He had 3 receptions for 78 yards and a touchdown. Now inside Giants territory, Charlie Sanders, the tight end, gets the ball over the middle. and he gets inside the 5-yard line. And then Herman Moore finishes the drive off with a big touchdown over the middle. 21-7. Stafford will step up in the pocket as he gets it to around the 26. And that would lead to a missed field goal. Or no, that would lead to Barry Sanders, the human highlight reel, the human joystick, getting his touchdown in this game. Eli Manning trying to get the Giants back as Odell Beckham Jr., 2 receptions, 123 yards, and a touchdown. Giants are going to try the onside kick, and it's recovered by the Giants. Down by 2 possessions. Eli Manning forces it to Victor Cruz, and he makes the catch, and he's salsa dancing inside the 10-yard line. A few sacks later by the Lions, Eli Manning, less than 2 minutes, throws it down the right side to a well-dressed Amani Toomer. However, the Giants were unable to get back into this one as they lose 31-21. The Giants are 2-6. The Lions are 2-5. Eagles face the Bills up in Buffalo. Wilbert Montgomery, Steve Van Buren, and Brian Westbrook all come back from injuries. Norm Van Brocklin in the second quarter play actions. He'd chuck it deep to the Hall of Famer Harold Carmichael, who had one heck of a game. I'll reveal his stat line later. And this would lead to a handoff up the middle, goal line, to LaShawn Shady McCoy. He's doing the river dance in the end zone. Jim Kelly would struggle in this game. So would Thurman Thomas right here. He catch the ball, he drop it. It's a fumble. Recovered by Wes Hopkins. And this would lead to motion man. Norm Van Brocklin back, giving it to Harold Carmichael. He had 4 receptions, 102 yards, and a touchdown. Handoff here to LaShawn Shady McCoy. Would get close to the first down marker. He'd get injured. He'd be replaced by Wilbert Montgomery, the hero of the 1980 NFC Championship game. We talked about how Thurman Thomas had a rough game. He'd get injured as well, replaced by Fred Jackson. The Eagles would win this one 20-0. Bills get blanked. Jim Kelly had 0 passing yards. Eagles are 5-3. Bills are 3-4. Undefeated Seattle Seahawks go to the Georgia Dome. Let's see if an upset can take place. Jamal Anderson replaces Gerald Riggs because Gerald Riggs hasn't been doing well. And Russell Wilson comes back from injury. First thing Russell Wilson does is go up the middle, running it outside of the pocket as he would get it close to the 35-yard line. But Russell Wilson would make a mistake. Play action, roll out, throws it over the middle. It's intercepted by Neon Deion Sanders, and the Falcons take over on their first drive. Russell Wilson down the left side to Roddy White, and Roddy White has one heck of a game. 2 receptions for 114 yards. And Matt Ryan tries to get out of the pocket. He gets tackled. It's a fumble. The easiest fumble recovery Kenny Easley could ever make. That would lead to a Norm Johnson field goal. Kickoff to Warren Dunn. Would go around defenders, getting it past midfield, past the 40, inside Seahawks territory to the 25-yard line, and this would lead to a Jamal Anderson plunge up the middle. Right before halftime, you got to see this to believe this. Russell Wilson throws it over the middle to Joey Galloway, away. 4 receptions, 85 yards, and a touchdown. Falcons need to get back into this one. Terrence Mathis would get 2 consecutive catches on this drive, setting up the Falcons into good territory, getting it inside the red zone. And then at the 1-yard line, Matt Ryan would give Julio Jones his only catch of the game, 1 reception, 1 yard, and a touchdown. Russell Wilson taking over inside Falcons territory. 4th down, giving the ball to Sean Alexander, which is a risk. And then another handoff to Sean Alexander down the left side, and he'd get a touchdown. 16 receptions, 84 yards, and a touchdown. Falcons, one last chance. Is Matty Ice? Yes, he is. Roddy White down the left side. And then the play action with less than a minute, 30 seconds. And it's Jamal Anderson with the touchdown. The Falcons upset the Seattle Seahawks. They win 21-17. Falcons are 3-5. Seahawks are defeated 7-1. Cardinals will visit the Saints at the Superdome. Both teams are having a really good season so far at the midpoint close to the season. Drew Brees would play action, throw it over the middle. Eric Martin, he had 2 receptions for 93 yards and a touchdown. That was his first catch of the game. Cardinals set up. Kurt Warner, play action, guns it over the middle to David Johnson, one of the better running backs in NFL history. He had over 100 yards receiving, and that would be a Jim Bakken field goal. Morton Anderson would kick the ball off to Edgerrin James to start the third quarter. He gets tackled. It's a fumble recovered by the Saints, and Morton Anderson would add a field goal. Cardinals set up. Kurt Warner, play action, deep throw over the middle. Once again, David Johnson had one heck of a game, 2 receptions, 105 yards, and this would end in a D-Hop touchdown. The Cardinals tie this game up, 3rd and 18. Drew Brees with the play action. He'll target Michael Thomas with pressure in his face, but he overshoots him. The ball is intercepted in the end zone by Patrick Peterson, the fast corner. 4th down, Kurt Warner, play action. He'll gun it deep to D-Hop and out of his hands. This would lead to a chip shot. Morton Anderson field goal. It's good. Saints win this game 13-10. The Cardinals go to 6-2, and the Saints to 5-3. Coming off their second win of the season, the Bengals will travel to SoFi to play the Rams. Joe Burrow setting up, throwing over the middle to Chad Ochocinco. He gets tackled, he fumbles at midfield. Ball's recovered by Eddie Meter, and the Rams would get closer to the red zone. Inside the 5, Todd is trying to show that he's not Gurley. Todd Gurley's got the touchdown, and the Rams take over once again. Kurt Warner to Sir Isaac Bruce at the 20-yard line, getting it inside the 5 again. This pitch to Todd Gurley. That was 16 rushes, 95 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Rams take over once again. Kurt Warner play actioning, firing it over the middle to Torrey Big Game Holt. First passing touchdown of the game. And then Henry Ellard gets involved. 2 touchdowns for Kurt Warner. That's a big one for Ellard. 50 yards receiving. And the Rams would win this one 28-7. The Rams are 5-3. The Bengals are 2-6. The Jacksonville Jaguars are having a really bad year. They'd host the New York Jets. Trevor Lawrence has been playing poorly. He'd be replaced by Mark Brunell. And Maurice Jones-Drew would be playing equally poor this season. And in this game, he gets tackled. It's a fumble. Ball's recovered by the Jets. And then Curtis, my favorite, Martin, would bob and weave by defenders, getting the ball into the end zone. He had 108 total yards in this game. Mark Brunell on the Jaguars' first drive throws it to his sure-handed receiver, Keenan McCardell, and he would get the ball on this second play here. 170 yards. Keenan McCardell's got the touchdown. Game is tied. That's good for the Jaguars. What's bad for the Jaguars is that Joe Namath is throwing the ball to the guy watching cartoons, Al Toon. He had 3 receptions for 130 yards in this game, including a touchdown. Curtis, my favorite, Martin, would get his second touchdown. The handoff right. And then here would be where more mistakes would follow. Fred Taylor, another bad break for the Jaguars running backs. Jamal Adams recovers the ball. And then Curtis, my favorite, Martin, gets the hat trick. Jets have a big lead of 21-7. Another handoff to Curtis Martin. He would go down the right side. He scored enough touchdowns here. The ball is going to be spread around. Joe Namath, no pressure. Mickey Schuler with the touchdown. The Jets would eventually win this game by a final score of 38-7. Jaguars continue to be in last place at 1-7. Jets are 2-5. If you like defensive football games, you have a treat here. Lance Allworth comes back for the Chargers. Sweetness Walter Payton comes back for the Bears. First drive for the Chargers is a safety. LaDainian Tomlinson safetied in the end zone, and the Bears would get the ball back. Sweetness Walter Payton with the handoff. He's seeing daylight, but he gets tracked down from behind. Kevin Butler adds his first field goal of the game. Then, direct snap to Walter Sweetness Payton. The Red Sea gets parted, and he gets to around the 30-yard line. Another Kevin Butler field goal. They go back to the direct snap by Walter Sweetness Payton, and he gets tackled inside the 30. Kevin Butler adds the field goal. We're here in the fourth quarter, and the Chargers finally get everything going. Rivers, deep. Lance Allworth, he has a 91-yard touchdown, but Nate Kading's extra point is blocked. It's no good. So Kading goes for the onside kick. It's recovered by the Bears. However, Walter Sweetness Payton gets tackled behind the line of scrimmage. He would come out of the game again, get injured, replaced by Matt Forte. They add a field goal with Kevin Butler. The Chargers need 2 touchdowns, or a touchdown and a field goal. Tecmo Super Bowl, there's no 2-point conversions, but Tomlinson fumbles, recovered by the Bears, Dick Butkus, and the Bears win this one with the final score of 14-6. The Chargers are 4-4, and the Bears are 4-3. 2 Hall of Fame quarterbacks, John Elway versus Peyton Manning, Denver Broncos versus the Indianapolis/Baltimore Colts. John Elway would start this one off early, giving it to Demaryius Thomas, the late great receiver. But John Elway would make a mistake here. Play action. The ball would be intercepted by Ray Buchanan. It's a touchback in the end zone. Peyton Manning, play action. Throws it down the middle. Contested catch by Eric Dickerson after a few sacks. Peyton Manning back, throwing it to Starvin Marvin Harrison. 3 receptions, 77 yards, and a touchdown for the Hall of Fame receiver. Colts get the ball back. Peyton Manning to stately Wayne Manor, Reggie Wayne, to the 30-yard line. Shotgun, Peyton Manning surveying the field to Starvin Marvin Harrison again, but Champ Bailey would intercept it in the end zone. Ball goes to midfield. John Elway, the Hall of Famer, throws it deep to Ed McCaffrey. Give him the salute. John Elway had 195 passing yards in this game, and he finds himself back in Colts territory, finding Terrell Davis for a 17-yard touchdown. Colts down by 7. Eric Dickerson with the direct handoff. Nobody can tackle him here. He splits the defense, and he ends up getting the touchdown, 95 yards and a touchdown. Demaryius Thomas with another catch from John Elway. This one gets it close to the red zone. Good field position for the Broncos. Elway throws it to Sanders, but it's intercepted by the wrong Sanders, Bob Sanders, and the game goes to overtime. You know what they say, whoever gets the ball first usually wins. The Colts get the ball they request to receive. As we can see, the game is tied. Peyton Manning, Raymond Berry, and Raymond Berry has been a sure-handed player for Peyton Manning in this game. Manning had 280 passing yards and a touchdown. Adam Vinatieri has been kind of shaky field goals. Ball is up. It's good. Colts win 17-14. The Indianapolis/Baltimore Colts are 4-3. Broncos are 4-4. With that Seahawks loss, the 49ers are only a half game out of first place in the NFC West, but Cam Newton's coming back, so they got to contend with him. First quarter, first drive for the Panthers. Cam Newton's going to sling it down the left side. Dazzling catch to Steve Smith Sr., the trash-talking wide receiver. The handoff would go to Christian McCaffrey, and he'd vulture off that amazing touchdown catch. Christian McCaffrey only had 25 rushing yards. The 49ers held him in check in the running game. But you know who couldn't be held in check here? The 49ers wide receivers, led by Jerry Rice, arguably the best wide receiver in NFL history. But Cam Newton, up by 4, would dazzling pass it again. Big catch in the end zone by Smitty. 2 receptions, 79 yards, and a touchdown. But Joe Montana would deliver it again. Skinny post. T.O. They've got that Jerry Rice to T.O. connection, but it would be a second field goal added by Robbie Goodis-Gould. Christian McCaffrey did not do well in the running game, but he would do amazingly in the receiving game. 3 receptions for 76 yards, gets it into the red zone. And then Cam Newton, he's Superman. He's about to go dabbing in the end zone. Huge play by Cam Newton on the run. 21-6 ball game. A pass over the middle from Montana to T.O. And Terrell Owens get that big gain. Montana play action, big catch over the middle. T.O.'s got the touchdown, 3 receptions, 126 yards and a touchdown. Robbie Gould with the onside kick, but he's not good as Gould. Smitty, Steve Smith Sr.'s just rubbing salt into the wound. The Panthers win this one, 24-13. Panthers are 3-4. 49ers are 5-2. Last 2 games, you got to see to believe. This one's the Raiders being hosted by the Texans. Owen Daniels comes back from injury, and Deshaun Watson and the Texans did not have a good early part of the game as he puts it on the ground. Recovered by Phil Villapiano, and he could go all the way, going by defenders, 60-yard touchdown, and that puts the Raiders up almost immediately in this game. Blanda will kick off to Dominic Williams, formerly known as Dominic Davis. He would get close to the 30. He's tackled. He coughs the ball up. It's a fumble recovered by Tom Keating to the 25-yard line. Ken Stabler would go back, throw it deep left to Jerry Rice. Jerry Rice was playing well for the Raiders and the 49ers today. That's a 14-point lead. But the Texans would ride right back into this one. Deshaun Watson throwing it deep to Kevin Walter. He had 3 touchdowns last week. Let's see how much he can get this week. Deshaun Watson right to Andre the Giant Johnson, and that would lead to a Chris Brown field goal. Deshaun Watson in the third quarter steps up, goes around defenders, showing off the wheels, getting it inside the 35-yard line, and then Watson steps up, finds Andre the Giant Johnson, 5 receptions, 74 yards, and a touchdown. Raiders would get back into this one. The Snake, Ken Stabler, throwing it deep. Jerry Rice, the best receiver to ever do it. 2 receptions, 115 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Raiders take a huge lead here. But with 2 minutes and 6 seconds left, Arian Foster's freeze gets the Texans into Raiders territory. Watson back, steps up, 98 yards in this game. Kevin Walters got his 2nd touchdown of the game, 5 in 2 weeks. The Texans eventually win this one, 26-21. 2-5 Raiders, 3-5 Texans. Browns head up to Gillette Stadium to face the Patriots, and the Patriots and Tom Brady find themselves in the red zone already. Curtis, my favorite, Martin! He's got the touchdown. Huge play by the Patriots. Another play by Curtis Martin. He finds a little bit of daylight, getting inside the Browns side of the field with 13 rushes for 87 yards. After a sack, Tom Brady would allow Randy to absolutely moss the Browns defense. That would lead to an Adam Vinatieri made field goal. Into the third quarter, Baker Mayfield would find Jim Brown, Hall of Fame running back, inside the 10-yard line. And say it for me, everybody. Boom, 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 boom. Jim Brown's got the touchdown. He had 16 rushes for 51 yards and a touchdown. Brady with less than 2 minutes left to go. He's intercepted by Barden, but the ball's on the ground. It's a fumble recovered by Bernie Parrish. And say it for me, everybody. He goes, get off me. The walk-off touchdown. The Browns end up winning this one with a final score of 14-10. The Browns commit the upset. The Browns are 4-3. Patriots are 5-3.